Women are trending liberal, men are not. Hmm. Who could
Are
have
you
seen that
shocked?
coming?
I'm
Um,
not.
young women are more likely to identify as liberal now than in any time in the past 2 decades, a trend that puts them squarely at odds with young men. Gee, I wonder why. 44% of young women counted themselves liberal in 2021, compared to 25% of young men, according to a Gallup poll data analyzed by the Survey Center on American Life. The gender gap is the largest recorded in 24 years of polling. The finding accumulates years of rising liberalism between the women ages 18 to 29 without any increase among their male peers.
All
Well,
right.
that's because their male peers are women these days.
Well, hang on. Well, first of all, as a man, and I remember as a child, going through school, and a little of this feminist bullshit was starting to get started back then in the 80s. But all of my friends, we were always on the calm, rational, logical side, and women were all, emotions and feelings. And I guess the liberal mindset appeals to them because the liberals cater to the feelings, and these women are just eating it up. And I'm going to tell you right now that when these women get in the real world and they have to face reality, and reality slaps them in the face and says, "I don't give a shit about your feelings," they are going to have one hell of a rude awakening. Of course, this is just my opinion.
Yep. Several societal forces have conspired to push young women to the left in recent years, including the hashtag #MeToo movement. Former President Trump, rising LGBTQRSTUV identification, and most recently, abortion policy. Slower cooking trends and marital status and educational attainment have also nudged the needle. I think there's a big generational shift that happens with Gen Z, women who were really coming of age in the last 5 years, says Kelsey Christopher, a sociologist at Oregon State University who studies gender politics. We need people to study gender politics now. Underwater lesbian basket weaving wasn't enough.
Yeah, you want to talk about useless degrees that these young people of today are getting fleeced for.
I wonder how much student debt she has because of the gender politics.
Probably a lot.
I'm going to be guessing anywhere between 80 and 120,000, give or take.
Give or take, yeah.
The rift between young men and women may widen further. Earlier this year, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, a precedent that had protected abortion as a constitutional right for nearly half a century. The ruling has energized young women to be sluts. News released this week shows that 61% of young women consider abortion a critical issue, compared with 36% of all Americans.
A critical issue.
Critical issue, yeah. And every time I see the argument, oh, abortion is healthcare. What disease are you trying to cure with abortion?
That's right.
I'm still waiting on answers.
The loose, gay, butt-twerking queer community in America wants to groom your children and keep going with their mass genocide.
Yep.
That's about as evil as it gets.
They cannot reproduce, so they have to recruit. She goes on to say, I would always choose a candidate that's pro-abortion, says Rose Mejos, 21, a government major at Wesleyan University in Connecticut, who is an avowed liberal. Shocker. Almost everyone either knows someone who has had an abortion or has had one themselves. This is something everyone can relate to.
No.
Yeah, no. Where's the bullshit flag at? God damn it!
Well, I'm serious. I mean, they're trying to normalize this. It's murdering children. That's the only thing I can call it: genocide of the youth. And then
Yep.
they dare hide behind, it's my body, my choice, and I have a right to this medical treatment. Get the hell out of here.
And the share of men who identify as liberal has held fairly steady for the most 25 years. According to Gallup surveys, roughly one quarter of men ages 18 to 29 term themselves liberal year after year. Meanwhile, among young women, liberalism has exploded. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, fewer than 30% of women identified as liberal. The liberal camp grew through the second term of President George W. Bush. It expanded further during the tenure of former President Obama. It reached 39% in 2017. With the inauguration of Trump in the last 2 years, liberalism has surged anew. And look at where it's gotten us.
Yeah, it's going to. I'm telling you, man, they're trying to make their feelings represented in the real world, and that's just not the case.
Yeah, my Fifi's wee.
And then you try to tell them this, and they literally just, it goes in one ear and out the other, and then they, call you a white supreme pizza and, vicious white man.
Yep. Or they lash out in violence, get arrested, get a slap on the wrist, and then get let out again to continue doing said violence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. But young women today are much more liberal than young men. Daniel Cox wrote in June newsletter of the Survey Center of American Life, project of the American Enterprise Institute. His work documents a growing political rift between young women and men. Gee, I wonder why. Merhos attends a university long associated with both liberalism and activism. These days, though, she senses more of both among the women. In all my government classes, there are probably 2 men out of 18 people, she said. ACLU, fuck that place. That's mostly women. I'm wondering if women are maybe more inclined to be involved in the community, engaged in the community, and that liberalizes them. I'm sorry, but go to any PTA meeting that's happening these days with let's just say special books in them, and you'll see a staunch, it's pretty close to 50-50. But when a man goes up there to the microphone and reads the smut and crap that's in there, they get silenced, they get arrested, and they get thrown out. Oh, that's inappropriate. You can't be saying that, motherfucker. These are in the books that are in kindergarten classes.
Here's the thing that needs to happen. If you step up there and you have your 3 minutes to talk, and you are reading the material that they're actually, pushing on the kids, and they say you can't read that, and they kick you out of there, file a federal lawsuit for a violation of your First Amendment rights and go after them where it hurts in their pocketbook.
Yep. And there's actually been 2 instances that I've seen where they've kicked out black preachers so they can even throw in the racism card, since the left likes to throw, oh, you Yankee. You're stopping a black man from speaking his mind. Now who's the racist, huh?
Yeah.
Bastards. Ezra Meyer, 22, is a senior at George Washington University who leads the college Republicans. He is a conservative on campus that is overwhelmingly liberal and largely female. Shocker. Oh, yeah. In conversations with classmates about politics, he treads lightly. I'm sorry, but treading lightly is where we got today.
That's correct.
I'm not going to step on eggshells around anyone. I'm going to stomp into those eggs and make them a nice good old foot omelet.
Well, here's the thing. If you just tell the truth and if you know the facts, there's nothing they can do but, call you names and then maybe report you to get you like silenced or kicked out. That's it. That's all they got.
Well, it's not like that's happened or anything. Oh, wait, it has. If you haven't heard, Dove, the soap company, has signed on the 500-pound land whale that got a white girl kicked out of college because she misheard a racial. I don't know the whole story, but a big fat black bitch got a white girl kicked out of college because she misheard something racist. So now of course, she's a BLM and an activist and all this other shit. Now she's being signed by Dove. So, ladies, gentlemen, anyone out there that uses Dove products, be sure to give them the Bud Light treatment.
Are they owned by Piss and Garbage?
Would not surprise me.
Okay.
Would not surprise me at all. But Ezra quotes, my metric for deciding if I'm going to be friends with someone really does not come down to what their politics are, he said. It comes down on how tolerant they are. And the left is really tolerant, right?
Listen, it's getting to that point where you literally can't be friends with these people. You can't.
No.
Because, I mean, the minute they find out that you don't agree with their, Star Trek crazy mentality of feelings that are going to be facts, they get all stupid. You don't need that in your life. And also, you are the sum of the 5 or 6 people who are closest to you on the regular basis. And if you have a bunch of people around you who literally can't see and acknowledge reality, you don't need those people in your life. You really don't.
Nope. Cut sling load and march on. Meyer doesn't know whether the men at GW skew more liberal or conservative than women, but he has noticed a distinct trend among campus conservatives this fall. We've been doing a lot of recruiting of freshmen on campus, he said, and I would say overwhelmingly it's been male. The conservative females that do get involved, there's fewer of them, but they tend to be way more passionate and way more involved. And like we said, feelings and emotions is what drives a woman.
Yep, 100%.
Several factors have liberalized the nation's 20-something women. The most recent, perhaps the most powerful, is the hashtag #MeToo, an uprising against sexual assault, abuse, and harassment that caught fire in 2017. How I believe someone, I can't remember who it was, that said that they were in contact with someone that said they were in the know, saying that 80% of rapes and sexual assaults are false, and nothing gets done.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're just figuring that out?
Yeah, color me shocked.
We've been talking about that for over a decade.
Yeah.
And, in the past, the powers that be didn't want to hurt people's fee-fees, so they labeled a lot of these false allegations as unfounded.
Yep.
That's how they got around it.
Yep. And there's an actor that's looking at 30 years to life because of these kind of incidents.
That's right. Not one. There's no witness, and there is no physical evidence, and it's over 20 years old. I mean, that's a travesty, miscarriage of justice right there.
Yep. The inauguration of Trump in the same year pushed more young women into the liberal column. 45th president battled his own Me Too allegations and proved uniquely unpopular among young female voters. Polling in 2016 showed that only 25% of women ages 18 to 34 favored Trump, compared with 40% of the same aged men. Well, I'm pretty sure that number has been flipping since this article has been read. The rise of liberalism among young women has also marched a space with a dramatic increase in young people identifying as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer. In a recent survey, 56% of young women reported exclusive attracted to men, while 3/4 of young men said they were solely attracted to women. Prior to the research suggests the alphabet mafia Americans of all ages tend toward liberalism.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker.
Well, that's all they can do because the liberals are basically eating up this whole alphabet mafia mindset, and it's going to collapse at some point. They just can't sustain that, and you cannot ignore reality for very long until reality shows up and kicks you in the ding ding.
Yep. And actually, there has been an update on that kind of end. There was a young woman here in my state of Nebraska. She is now suing one of the major hospitals at the university for pushing her towards the transgenderism instead of actually dealing with her her thinking meat. No, we need to mutilate your body and all this and that. So she now is going to sue the pants off of them, and I hope she wins, and I hope that hospital gets shut the fuck down.
I would love to see that.
That would be excellent. Excellent.
I'm getting sick and tired of this stupid bullshit. Oh, my Lord.
Ridiculous. Several longer-term trends that have fed the liberalization of young women as well. One is marriage. The share of women ages 18 to 29 who are married has fallen by half in 20 years, from 31% in 2000 to 15% in 2021.
Wow, that is devastating.
Gee.
So typically when a woman gets married and after she has kids, and if she was a liberal, they slowly stop being such a bleeding liberal and move towards the center, if not to the right, because it's all fun and games until you got to pay the tax man.
Yep. The tax man always comes, and sometimes it's all over your face, neck, back, and thighs. The growing ranks of single 20-something women feel like a sense of linked fate, researchers say. They gravitate towards female friends and political views, whereas married women more often mirror the politics of their spouses, which is what it should be.
Yep.
Correlation between women's sense of linked fate and liberal political preferences suggests that the Democratic Party will benefit from declining marriage rates among young women. Kretschmer and two co-authors wrote in a 2017 paper for the Journal of Political Research Quarterly. They noted that women make up the majority of the population and vote at high rates. Maybe we ought to take care of the 19th Amendment there.
Might have to. Well, I don't have a problem if women are going to vote if they have something to contribute. If they are on public assistance and they're taking more out of the system than they put in, I don't think you should vote. And that goes for men as well. Yep.
It goes for everybody. If you don't have any skin in the game, sorry, you get no voice.
There's no game for you.
Just going to keep voting for free shit, and we have to pay for it. Let's see. Women also outpace men in educational attainment, a trend that dates to the 1980s. The ratio of women to men in college enrollment now stands at roughly 60 to 40, and it continues to grow. Americans who complete college are more liberal than those who do not. I'm sorry, but they are being indoctrinated, not educated.
That's right. And we've done several shows on this. Like literally 2/3 of all the classes that you take are to make you well-rounded. And it's really just in-doc. I mean, if you go to school for accounting, why do I have to retake a bunch of classes that I already took in high school just so I can get to the accounting classes, halfway through my sophomore year and then complete them on my senior year? That is ludicrous. It doesn't need to happen. And we need that whole system needs to change. And come on, underwater basket weaving. Even when I was in college, I had to do intro to they gave me the choice to intro to women's studies, or I could take intro to several other religions. And I took Islam and Buddhism. I refuse to take any of that in-doc female studies bullshit.
Yeah, fuck that noise. But putting off marriage, going to college, entering the workforce, women are doing that at much higher rates than they used to, said Mark Hetherington, a professor of political science at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Oh, another place that we're familiar with and all that good stuff. Apparently there was another incident the other day, and people were fucking, oh my God, freaking out. Shut the fuck up. And all of those things are going to make conservatism and the Republicans significantly less attractive to women.
Good. Whatever. I mean, listen, it's just going to evolve into a two-way rifle range. And the liberals and the women on the left, they're not really going to be able to do much.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.